Well, it's Friday again, and you know what? Thanksgiving is just about here. That's right, this is going to be our last Friday and weekend before Thanksgiving. Are you ready? Have you gotten everything you needed? Or are you going to be one of those people that are going to completely back up the grocery store this weekend? I used to be in that industry. I remember a lot of it. Just work ahead, people. You know what? You can buy a lot of it online. That's the amazing thing. I'm rambling here. My name's Kevin Batstone. I do a lot of rambling. I'm pushing buttons tonight. We're having fun bringing in this weekend. I can't believe November's just about over. But you know what? Let's get down to business. Joining me across the table, Mr. Arthur, the Who Needs a Barber Raw.
I had a feeling you were doing something about that. What's up, America? Happy Friday. It's about to be a great show. And you know what? We got some stuff to talk about. What's the first segment always, Kev?
We got Today in History, November 22nd. What do we got, Art?
So November 22nd, there's some things that happen here and some common themes that will continue throughout the show. So 1919, love me some angel numbers. Labor Conference Committee in the United States urges an 8-hour workday and 48-hour week. Obviously, later on, they're like, hey, let's bring that down to 40 hours. They kept the 8-hour day. And who knows, maybe in some counties, they're trying to do a 32-hour work week. We'll talk more about that. 1939, moving forward a little bit, Bugsy Siegel, Whitey Krakower, Frankie, Carbo, and Albert Tannenbaum kill Harry Big Greenie outside of his apartment.
You really gave yourself work on this one.
I did good on all that. They kill him outside of his apartment after he became a police informant. So we're talking about mob stuff. We're talking about somebody who was in the mob, who was dealing with all this, and then, they had some dirt on him. So, we might have a guest upcoming on DCPC that has a similar story, but still alive and kicking it.
Yes, I believe December 11th, somewhere in that vicinity.
Yeah, so Bugsy Siegel was killed in 1939.
Wow.
By mafia members, I'm pretty sure. 1961, producers Albert R. Broccoli and Harry Saltzman announced expensive publicity. So either way, they want to make Sean Connery famous for playing James Bond. So they put together this plan to make Sean Connery a famous star for playing the ultimate ladies' man, James Bond.
We love James Bond, and Sean Connery's fantastic.
He was fantastic.
Every once in a while, just give him a little slap.
And when he died peacefully in his house, or no way, he was on the islands.
He was doing some amazing things. That man put out a lot of great entertainment.
True man's man. And then, of course, on this day, a sad day in history, I know my mom remembers this date. A lot of people do. 1963, November 22nd, U.S. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And then that happened in Dallas, Texas. And then, of course, Lyndon B Johnson was sworn in afterwards.
You ever been to the spot in Dallas where he was?
I've never been.
A lot of people go there. I mean, you're not really looking at much. It's a street. It's a street. You're in the city. But that's kind of wild that it did fall on this date. Of course, there's a lot of conspiracies and other beliefs about what happened on that day. But the fact remains, he was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963. R.I.P. RFK.
Yes, and that is Today in History.
All right, let's keep it moving. This is a wild one. So I had to put this in as my lead article here. So OnlyFans has been around for a while now. We've seen it completely become popular. A lot of folks are making money do it. It's basically an online explicit adult entertainment website that people can create their own content with. And people pay to see explicit things on there. So in this case, there was a couple that hired a dog sitter. Mm-hmm. Pretty common stuff. A lot of people do dog sitting, right?
Yeah.
They go out of town for the weekend. Hey, we trust this person. Come on over to the house. Watch the dogs. Well, down the road, they ended up finding out via her social media, this dog sitter person, that she was creating her OnlyFans videos out of their home, that they hired her to watch their dogs in their home. And they thought, wait a minute, that looks like our bathroom, or that's our pool in the backyard.
Okay.
And so she started to completely lose her mind about it. Like, this is kind of a violation of our...
Wait, so wait, these dog owners were on OnlyFans?
Nope. They found on her social media, like her IG, that she's like, go watch my OnlyFans.
Okay, so they're like, okay, this is our dog sitter. We'll help support their social media. And then through that, they recognize the background in an advertisement for the OnlyFans page. Okay,
correct.
I got it.
Because not every OnlyFans, we've had a couple on our show that have been creators. They're not always XXX rated, right? Some of them are like R rated.
Yeah, just wearing lingerie or something.
Right. So they're like, okay, $7.99 a month. Let's go check this out. So they do, and sure enough, she's getting not only paid to watch these animals, but to also do explicit things in their home and get paid to do that as well.
Okay, so they did pay for the subscription.
They paid the $7.99 to see her content.
The mystery drove them crazy.
Got her in there, and they're like,
and they had to.
They're like, this is our home. You're doing this in our private space. This is our, we hired you to come watch the dogs, not create pornography.
Yeah.
For OnlyFans.
Okay, so there's no legal ramifications for this.
I don't think so. I don't see how
you would have to
be.
have a contract saying that, like, you cannot
do that. Yeah.
While you're here.
But I think it's safe to say that she will no longer be watching dogs in that house.
I think that is safe to say.
Would be my guess.
It depends. It depends on the household situation. Here's the thing: is I think that is taboo. Okay.
It is.
So that's a little.
There's a time and a place for that.
That's a little taboo. Like your dog sitting. It's like doing the wrong thing, and it's not harming anybody. So that's why it's fun, sexual type of energy. Taboo.
Right. But I think the reality is this gal probably didn't have a safe, open house to create content in. She's like, wow, I can go watch these dogs. I know there's not going to be anybody there. I'll make my videos. I'll start uploading them.
Oh, I mean, is that the only content that was on the page?
Oh,
was filmed at this person's house?
Until we go in there and dive into that, which I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
I could really care less. But it's still kind of a funny story, right? She's probably got other shit in there. But yeah, she's doing all this wild shit at the dog owner's house.
Hey, I mean, I'm not going to knock the hustle a little bit because honestly, like, the fact that it's taboo kind of makes it hot, right? Like, when you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing and you get away with it a little bit.
I mean, there is a...
Like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, there is. There's like a fetish to that a little bit, I suppose. But there's also a disrespectful piece of it. You're disrespecting their home.
It's a little disrespectful.
Right.
That's like, if like you're house sitting for your best friend and then you wreck their bedroom, like in that sort of sense.
Right. Yeah, you cave in the bed.
But then you clean it up, but you still tainted it with the act.
Yeah.
So that's why it's taboo.
Yeah, I mean, but you go to a hotel or something, that's different because that's more of like a municipality.
Yeah, there's not this that's not like somebody's sanctuary.
That's not someone's home where their dogs are sleeping 3 feet away.
Yeah.
Dogs are probably, what is going on
What's
with
going on
this?
with that?
But just a funny story there, OnlyFans, dog watcher, gone porno maker, pretty wild stuff. What do you got next, Art?
No, that's a funny story. We could definitely keep going on subpoints there for probably 20 minutes. I want to talk about how a county, Washington County of San Juan, absolutely transformed their work-life balance by switching to a 32-hour work week. Now, I'm going to explain how this started and then where it's at right now. So it starts about where you would expect. There was union negotiations for salary raises, and those stuck. So in order for like the companies out there to avoid the red ink for that type of loss, because they couldn't really afford that, is they decreased the hours that people needed to work per week. So basically switched it into a 4-day work week. And on a human level, what they found, because they've been doing this for about a year, that 87% of the county workers said that they have a better work-life balance. It's healthier. So overall, it's a healthy thing is what we're seeing. Also, we saw that like voluntarily separations, like quitting or retiring, that decreased by 48%. So people were not leaving these positions. They weren't retiring early. Like, it's not burning them out anymore.
Yeah.
Also, there was a large amount of people that wanted to then move to this county because they're hearing about this. So they're getting more qualified people. And also because people aren't leaving, they are retaining skilled workforce appropriate to run down the business and everything like this. Or run the business, I should say. So overall, kind of interesting. 32-hour work week. Only a couple of people were thinking that the amount of work that they had to handle in that time was a little overwhelming. So overall, a huge benefit to breaking and like what we're talking about today in history, like it used to be a 48-hour work week in 1919, and then over 100 years later in this one county, they're doing 32 hours, and people are getting their lives back a little bit. I don't know. I'm in support of it.
It could
what
work.
Are your thoughts on it?
I think it could work in some sectors of the job market, right? So, like, for example, like a 4-day work week doesn't necessarily mean 32-hour work week. You could do 410s. We know people that work 412s, whatever. It depends on what you're getting done in that 32 hours. There's a lot of days where I'll put in 10, 11, whatever, including doing podcasting and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And that still feels good. Like when I do less, I feel, like that whole body in motion stays in motion, a rest stays at rest. Mm-hmm. Keeping busy, keeping moving. But it just depends on what sector you're in. If you're sitting at a desk all day or you're out there digging coal, those are two very different things when you're putting in hours. Like physical labor, dialing it back to 32, I could see tremendous gains from. You're giving your body more time to rest, mm-hmm. right? Lifting rock, sheetrock, whatever it is, construction. I mean, you've swung hammers, you know what I mean. Giving yourself more time to recoup from that, I think is great. And I still can get behind a 4-day work week, right? So you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, or some take, what would you take? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
For a while, I worked, I would have like a Sunday, Monday off, and then I would have a Wednesday off.
Okay.
So I'd basically get 2 days off, work a day, get a day off.
So break it up.
Work a couple days, and then get it. That was a pretty cool schedule back in the day.
It's not bad. I like having them all together, grouped up.
Yeah.
Because then I can do more things.
And it's nice to have like a longer period to relax, get caught up on chores and all this other stuff. And here's the thing. I'm not going to get too deep into this, but like to live to work and like trade our time for hours with like companies that don't really care about us, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, that certainly is. But I think the premise of this article and the idea of it, I think can work. And the fact that they're having success with it is great. That's freedom, baby. That's market freedom. That's job freedom. Full send it. If it works for you, that's fantastic.
Let's go. County of San Juan. Like, I'm all about it. America, what do you think? Let's run this nationwide. Let's get every single company to bring it down to 32 hours. Of course, they'll have to have people working every day, so there's still coverage. But I think this needs to go nationwide. We need a nationwide test on this.
You heard it first right here from Arthur Raw. All right, we're keeping it moving to my records. David Rush, he back in here with his wife this time. If you hadn't had a chance yet,
that's cool.
Go to our YouTube channel there, click it. You'll see Discussion Combustion Podcast with David Rush. Fantastic. We got to know the man breaking these records. Well, after that interview he did with us, he said, I'm going to break another one. So this time he got his wife involved. Okay, Jennifer Rush and David Rush, of course, teaming up to take on a challenge here. I'm going to try this challenge, I think, because anybody can do this in their house.
Okay.
So here's the deal. It's going to sound a lot easier than it is. I think that's the thing. You got to hang up 10 items of clothing in a record time.
So is it like, does the hanger matter? Because, like, look, if you're using those felt hangers, it's going to add time.
You're going to need quality hangers.
Those felt hangers add time.
Whatever hangers you want to use, you can use.
There has to be a specific type of hanger for the Guinness World Record.
I think it's a hanger, right? It could be the shitty one.
Really?
It could be the good one. It
really?
Could be the mediocre one.
I'm going straight hanger, no like spaghetti strap holder, no felt, just straight plastic hanger.
Okay.
That's what I'm going.
That would probably be the one that's going to crank the most speed. So 10 items of clothing. The previous record to beat was 57.87 seconds. Okay, David and Jennifer practiced a lot, just like he talked about in our interview with them. They went through it a lot. They failed a few times. They said they were exhausted by the end of it. So apparently this is more grueling than we think.
I mean, they do this for hours.
Hours
on end.
And it sounds silly, but these are true world records that are being broken by the man. So here's what he did, Art. He did 10 items of clothing in 51.8 seconds, him and his wife hanging it up. So that's averaging, let's see, what would be the math on that? You're basically cranking out an article of clothing
every 10 seconds almost.
Yeah.
Like 2.5 every 10 seconds.
Give or take.
Yeah.
So, you got to be dialed. You got to have your movements because you got to hang it up. You got to get to the next one,
And how the teamwork comes in, like there's a technique to this.
There's a technique to it. I don't think I could do it in under a minute in my first go. I'd have to practice a little bit.
I wonder if, like, now that we talked to Rush before, I almost want to ask him, like, do you have multiple world records with your wife? Like, how cool is that for the kids? Both their parents are Guinness World Record holders.
It's fantastic. And, a lot of his records do involve a buddy or somebody has to catch and throw or whatever. There is a lot that he does that involves some support. But he's cranking them. Another record for this Happy Friday. Over 182 now that are certified. Still some pending, as we know.
Yep. And I respect the Rush. He had some great advice for humanity. He did say, just assume most people are trying to do good. That was one that really stuck with me.
Yeah, great advice.
I've been thinking about that a lot over the last week. Just assume that most people mean well.
Yes.
I think that's great advice from the Rush.
Great advice from the Rush. And now we got the Would You Rather.
Let's go.
The Would You Rather segment. Art, last week we asked America, would you rather give up toilet paper and wet wipes or hot showers?
Mm-hmm.
You and I went back and forth on it.
We both gave up hot showers.
We both gave up hot showers after further discussion of other ideas of how to clean yourself.
Yeah.
We both agreed that the cold shower would actually be beneficial.
Yeah.
So where did America go? Well, 33% are giving up hot showers.
Okay.
67%, so the two-thirds majority, just over a two-thirds majority rule, are kicking the TP and wipes and keeping the showers.
Keeping the hot showers.
Yep. Only a third is gonna join us on this.
My girlfriend disagreed with us too, Kev.
So she went with the majority.
She went with the majority on this. Hey, there's something very special about a nice hot shower.
Hey,
it's a special thing.
It's pampering.
It is.
You know, it's pampering. I am not looking forward to this Would You Rather tonight. I've read it. There's nothing pampering about this one. Art, what do we have?
You know, this one is...
I still haven't made up my mind.
You're going to suffer a little bit on both of these. So would you rather have to eat and digest one of the hottest peppers on the planet to where it feels like a near-death experience while you're passing this pepper? Like, you could only imagine what I'm talking about.
I've been through something similar, so continue.
You can only imagine. Or would you rather get the worst sunburn on your back ever to where you can't even sleep on your back for over a week? Excruciating sunburn.
I had one in Mexico. It was horrible. It was the worst summer I ever had in my life.
Maybe a week is too long.
You're going to be feeling it for at least 5 days.
Yeah, so let's go 5 days.
And you get sick. Like
let's
that
just
kind
go
of
5
sunburn,
days.
you're getting fevers.
Yeah.
You get the chills. It's horrible.
I mean,
horrible.
you could get chills and fevers with super heat, too.
Either way, you're not coming out well in this deal.
No.
It's not going to be good.
No.
Now,
but I've made my decision, but I want to hear what you have to say.
So I have decided I'm going to take the hottest pepper.
Okay.
I'm going to wreck my digestive system, which has been wrecked for a lot of years anyway. I've kind of suffered from IBS and certain things like that. I one time ate extremely hot California Reaper beef jerky and had a similar experience to what you're describing here. Not to this extent per se, but I could feel it moving through my intestines. It was so hot. It was absolutely brutal. Good news was about 36 hours, I was out of it. Rehydrated, ate good food. So I feel like because of the time crunch on this, I'm going to take the less time of suck.
Yeah.
To me, that's going to be eating this pepper because I had a sunburn in Mexico. It was so bad, Art, I couldn't even fucking stand up.
Yeah.
My legs were wrecked. So I'm taking the pepper.
You're taking the super hot pepper.
Give me the pepper.
I'm going with the same, and that's because you can suffer through the pepper, still get good sleep, and get through your days. Like if you're sleeping on, like even if you have a messed up back, what if you're a side sleeper or a stomach sleeper?
I'm not a stomach.
Like even then,
my arm goes numb.
Yeah, even then, and if you're sleeping on your stomach, like you're cranking your neck,
it's
all
just
weird.
not comfortable.
Like it's not good for you. And if you are a stomach sleeper, please stop using pillows because then you're like cranking your head. You're like sleeping and cranking your head.
And everyone's had that where you wake up and you have to do this to like turn for the rest of the day. You can't even turn your neck.
Yeah, and if you're not sleeping good, you know, I'll pass the pepper. I'll nearly die doing it.
Hashtag pass the pepper, baby.
I'll pass the pepper. I'll nearly die doing it. I might bleed a little bit internally from it, but at least I'll be able to sleep good.
It's going to be rough, but we're hashtag suffering with the pepper.
Yeah.
Okay, hold the sunburn. What are you going to do, America?
Yeah, what are you going, America? You getting the ultimate sunburn on your back? Are you passing the hottest pepper and having a near-death experience with the heat?
Brutality.
What's it going to be?
This is not a nice would you rather, but you got to choose, right? So, all right, I got another wild story for all my stories are kind of off the rails this week.
Okay, what you got next?
We got a plane that was grounded earlier this week with 132 hamsters that escaped on board.
Okay.
A couple questions that I have here is I don't know why 132 hamsters would be on an airplane. I'm sure there's some answers to that are not in this article. It was a short read. Go down and click it and read it for yourself. So they had to ground it. Basically, they were concerned about the electrical wiring of the airplane, that these hamsters could gnaw through it.
Like go in there and like they're just ravenous.
Yeah.
Running rampant and biting wires.
Correct. So the flight ended up getting, it was grounded in Ponta Delgada when they realized, like, we got to ground this thing because we can't take the risk of these hamsters gnawing through our electrical system at 40,000 feet.
Yeah.
So we got to ground this thing. We got to clean this plane out. It was an Airbus 320. And it finally, I mean, they was only grounded for a short time. They finally got to their destination in Lisbon on Sunday. But how many times do you hear about a plane being grounded for a hamster situation?
Dude, hamsters, I mean, we've heard of it because of snakes.
Snakes on a plane.
Coming out of like the top.
It's usually like the wild wild creatures, I guess.
Like there was some crazy fecal matter one time, I feel like.
Oh yeah, there was like
that like made a plane.
Yeah, there was a woman that was trying to bring weird shit back. There was like monkey. It was
they're
like
wearing
monkey
ears on a necklace or something.
People are bringing weird things on the flight, and it's messing up everyone else's travel plans. So I guess the big takeaway is here: do we have to put the hamsters on the plane? I guess. I mean, I don't know how else are you going to transport them from overseas. Put them on a boat.
Air travel is air logistics, I should say, is the most expensive form of logistics, but it's also one of the fastest.
I think this was an inside job again, Art. Kind of like when we talked about the monkeys that escaped in South Carolina a few weeks ago.
What? Somebody let the hamsters loose?
They're like, let's turn this thing. Let's go wild.
On the plane?
Yeah. I mean, how do you let 132 hamsters get out of whatever confinement they were put in?
Picture the person that would do that. How do you picture this person?
Probably not the best. Not the best demeanor. Somebody that's...
I picture somewhat of like a hunchback type of situation. Like they're leaning hard. Like no good posture.
Yeah, and probably just someone that really is upset a lot of the time, and is trying to create... It's just always looking for that, like, a handout.
So is someone who like found out about the hamsters but wasn't part of the hamster logistics.
He's probably like, you know what, fuck these hamsters. I'm going to let them out and see what happens.
How do you, like...
Where was it, though? Was it in the stowaway?
How did they
was
know?
Was it up top?
Like, were hamsters running through the aisles?
I mean,
people are like, what is this?
They do have, I think there is cameras down there, right?
They
have to be able to monitor the freight, make sure...
I mean, if there's live animals, you
have to, right?
And it should have temperature control, too.
Well, a lot of them don't. Not down there.
How the animals...
I don't know. I'm not sure how that works.
Where do they put the animals? And what do they do for dogs when their ears want to pop? How do you tell a dog to pop your ears? By yawning?
I don't know if they have that same kind of cabin pressure that we have.
I don't know.
These are a lot of questions I don't know the answers to.
This is leading to more questions.
So that's why I said when I started this article, I still have a lot of questions. Obviously, Arthur does too. Crazy read, crazy situation. I wouldn't want to be on a plane with 132 hamsters running around either. But at the same time, I'd probably be like, can we just fucking get to where we're going and then you guys can figure it out?
Yeah.
Why do we got to ground this thing here?
Yeah, for sure. It was probably the UAPs, honestly, which still a week later no one is talking about.
This is true. I've seen it in market research.
I brought this up last week. No one is talking about that.
All right, let's continue. What do we got? We got weight loss.
Yeah, how to lose weight safely. I was curious about this because what struck my curiosity is I wanted to find a healthy article for Happy Friday and something that could help motivate people. And I thought that when I searched this, I thought I was just going to get absolutely bombarded by like, hey, take this pill, take this type of stuff. Fortunately, the search results came through with what I actually agreed with. So I was really happy about that I wasn't just fed all these miracle ways to lose weight. So what I was looking at here, and this is actually what I experienced. I didn't do any research on this when I was on my weight loss journey. I lost over 70 pounds in about 2 years of effort. And while I was doing that, I was losing about 1 to 2 pounds per week on average, and that's what it says to do here. And the main reason why is you want to have a slow weight loss. You don't want to do this really fast, shock the body, lose all this weight. First of all, you're more likely to spike back if you didn't actually create the habits to have a sustained weight loss. Also, when you have a rapid weight loss, it doesn't necessarily get rid of the fat. It might get rid of some of the muscle and other things. It doesn't necessarily target the fat. So it's good to have a nice, slow burn when losing weight. And obviously, one of the main things here is calories in and calories out. I don't care if you have like a thyroid issue or what's going on. If you're blaming gaining weight on anything other than your overeating, then you're making excuses, because that's the truth. That is the straight up truth. And you should know like what your calorie intake is daily and like how much you naturally burn. And what you naturally burn might be affected by your thyroid or different things like that. So you might have to make some adjustments because your metabolism might not be working like it used to, but then you could just eat less. So that's one of the main things that they talk about is a slow, sustained weight loss. Having less calories with portion control, reading food labels to make sure you know how many calories you're getting in. Also, like looking at added sugar, things like that, because obviously that's not healthy. foods like vegetables, fruits, whole grain, lean protein. And then also there's a bunch of really cool apps out there too that can track like how much you're eating a day, like if you really want to get into it. But like I said at the beginning of this article, it took me 2 years to drop the 70 pounds. So my biggest piece of advice to anybody is, if you're going into a weight loss journey or a health journey, expect it to take a couple years. Because I feel like a lot of people start getting excited about bettering themselves, and then 3 weeks in, they start to lose momentum. They're not seeing the changes they want to see. They get discouraged. They're lacking the discipline. And so then they quit, and they just go right back to who they were. And they never fully saw it through.
Yeah.
So that's some of the stuff that I experienced and that I also saw on this WebMD article here. Definitely an interesting read, but it's sustainable. That's what it's about, is being sustainable with this weight loss. You don't just want to lose it and yo-yo.
Right.
You want to have some sustainability.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good takeaways from this. I mean, the biggest thing, of course, you'd mentioned the excuses that a lot of folks make. Oh, I have an overactive this, or I can't afford to eat that. So, whatever. So it really comes down to the same thing I talk about almost every day in my life, and that's controlling what we can control. Mm-hmm. We can control how much food we're eating. We can control not putting in the cookies, right, and reaching for healthier foods, controlling that piece, getting back to basics approach.
Well, that's the difficult part.
It is the difficult part. Rather than going to what you were saying, most people want the easy button. Give me the pill. Mm-hmm. Give me this diet.
No.
Give me this. What's going to work? What are they taking? Ozempic or some shit?
I don't know.
It's just getting crazy. The back to basics approach, like you said, it's a 2-year commitment at least to make a transformation of your body, right, and maintain it, for you to want to continue to maintain it. Because one little slip, you have a cheat night. Next thing you know, you're eating ring dings and ho hos, and you got Dorito dust in your cleavage.
Yeah.
And then things are off the rails, and then you're just like, fuck it.
And then you're stinky, and you're not cleaning your place, and then all of a sudden all this stuff. So I will say I got down to 190. I'm back up to 205. I think that's okay, because I was really pushing to get down to that 190, and now I'm kind of back to an average.
You're at a good weight.
So there's that. And also I identified yesterday for sure that I'm currently dealing with a phone addiction. I'm currently dealing with a food addiction, and there was a third one on there too. Oh yeah, I still use marijuana frequently.
Yeah.
So those are the current things that I know I need to tighten up on. Everyone has different things they need to tighten up on, and that's a little bit of a raw talk.
Beat some of the pornography. A little bit of a raw talk. Beat the pornography addiction, so that's good. Mm-hmm. I'm 20 days off of all of it. Mm-hmm. Feeling fucking fantastic. It's about those challenges and pushing ourselves to the limit. We have to make the change. We're in control of it. Yeah. There is no easy button. There's techniques, like you mentioned, the apps. All that stuff is great stuff. Those are great tools.
But you have to hold yourself accountable.
Tools are just part of it. You have to be the one swinging the hammer, right? So great article. I like that one. I would encourage the viewers to read that in its entirety. And we're going to move it on to one of my old school favorites. I used to talk about trucks, dropping shit all over the highway. I've had some wild ones. It's been a while, Art.
Hamster. We're talking about hamster logistics in the air. Now we're talking about over the road logistics. What's going on?
I'm having fun this week. So down in Arizona, a truck overturned. A driver was okay. He was down there up the 303 loop in Northern Avenue interchange area. This was 11:30 on Tuesday. The truck flipped over, Art, and dumped thousands and thousands of White Claw cans. Now, I know what you're thinking. No, these were not full cans. These were empty cans. I'm assuming were on their way to the production plant to be filled with the hard seltzer for packing. So that's my understanding of it, because they were all empty cans. So you just had all these empty White Claws out there without the lids on them, because they were being distributed to the production plant.
That's a bad procurement process.
Yeah, because now they're going to have to roll another 53-footer.
Well, and also, don't you think you'd want to, manufacture the cans
in the same place?
Hey, so anyone in the logistics...
It's called co-packing.
Anyone in the logistics market right now, look up on your White Claw who's the distributor, manufacturer of that, and then you know that there's, an opportunity to ship cans to the place that they actually bottle it at.
Coca-Cola does the same thing, right? All these major beverage corporations, they're going to ship in that product, they're going to put the liquid in, and they're going to ship it out. It's just part of the process, right? Well, unfortunately, this load didn't make it, and that's a lot of cans down. So that's going to back them up a bit. I don't think you're going to see any White Claw shortages on the shelves, but it did make the show this week.
Hey, I know somebody who used to work in Golden at the brewery for not Budweiser, for Coors.
Yeah, Molson Coors.
And what they would do there is they said that the stub bottles,
that
are the banquet bottle, the little stub one,
Right.
that it's actually more difficult to make than the long neck. And during the procurement process, there's all these different issues that come up with the stub bottle. And I remember hearing all these side stories about complaining about these stub bottles and how it wasn't coming out like it should and this and that.
Yeah. Well, I think Red Stripe does the same thing. Red Stripe
They
has
do.
very
They
similar bottles. It's because you look at every 12-ounce can, I mean, they all kind of look the same. For example, I mean, the White Claw has that tall, skinny can, like a Michelob. It's like the same as a Michelob kind of can. So I think it's just like easy to mass manufacture that design. Just boom, 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 keep it printing, keep it rolling. This shipment didn't make it. Ended up all over the highway. Had to shut the sumbitch down. That was probably a bitch to clean up.
It probably was. And thank you to all the truckers out there.
Yes.
You keep this country alive. People don't understand this. I've been in the supply chain industry for over 15 years. And if it wasn't for 18-wheeler, full truckload freight, intermodal, and all of that in the maritime traffic, we wouldn't have anything. So thank you, everybody that plays a part in helping us get product to the shelves. Thank you so much.
It's crucial. I've done it for 20 years in distribution. I've seen it. I've seen the empty out of stocks. I've seen groceries come in. I've seen on the alcohol side. We got to have the truckers. Without them, we don't have product. Creates out of stocks, creates unhappy
Who
customers.
else do we want to thank right now? The garbage people?
Yeah, I think the waste
The waste management crews?
as they call it, I think it's called DAD here in Denver, the Denver Aurora Dump Department.
Okay. My dad would always tip the garbage guys.
That's nice.
He would always go out there and go tip them. But here's the thing. Is he was like spinning that door because eventually he was going to ask them to
like,
throw
"Hey,
away
can you
some
pick
big
this up?"
shit.
They're like,
Yeah, so
"Yeah."
he would start tipping them like a couple weeks before.
Yeah.
And then that way when he had his big drop, they're like, we got you, Lee.
That's brilliant.
He would do
That's
that.
how you work it.
My
That's
dad would
old
do that.
school bartering. Hey, you help me, I help you.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
It goes.
Come on. All right, let's get into the weekend. Like I said, it's Thanksgiving coming up. Here's the big thing I've learned over the years. You got to take your turkey out. If this thing's massive, it's going to take
Right on Friday?
Friday or Saturday. Weigh that sumbitch because if it's over a 20-pounder, you got to take it out tonight.
I mean, just put it in the fridge. Like it's not going to hurt anything if it's sitting in the
Yeah,
fridge.
no, it's good.
thawing.
But a lot of people
Yeah.
go, "Oh, it's Tuesday. The turkey's still frozen solid."
That's
not
enough time.
You got to get that thing out of
Okay.
there this weekend. I speak from experience. I hate having to scrape ice out of the carcass on Thursday morning. I mean, is it the worst thing in the world? No. But you want to be able to hit the ground on Thursday and be ready to
Yeah.
go with a thawed turkey. Because I'm going to be spatchcocking mine. This will be the last week I get to say that unless I talk about the recap next week.
We're going to talk about that recap.
Yeah, I'm taking that backbone out. I'll do my best to put up some pictures on social media of my smoking process because I like to do cooking with Kev. So stay tuned to that. So yeah, take your turkey out of the freezer. It's time.
It's time to take the turkey out. Also, for me, I'm going to skip number 2. I'm going to let you take number 2.
Okay,
Okay, I'm going to skip to number 3 here.
go ahead.
All right, so it's time to put on some Snuggies, get cozy, and let's find a trilogy. So I recently rewatched the Lord of the Rings extended version trilogy. It was so much fun. Obviously not in one night, but I got The Matrix on my sights.
You got sucked in.
I want to rewatch The Matrix, the original 3. My girl's never seen them. And one thing that's been tripping me out is I saw somebody post something about this. They're like, in The Matrix in 1999, they were saying that this is the time that they made in The Matrix because this is peak human civilization. And then he started thinking about it. He's like, well, we have all this other cool stuff in the last 20 years. And then he started to really think about it. He's like, maybe late 90s was the peak of human civilization. Video games have gotten way worse. That's as far as I'm going on that.
I just feel like my parents said the same thing when we were growing up. They're like, "Oh, in the '60s, it was awesome."
Yeah, but
like,
in,
I feel like
in the late 90s, there wasn't even a touchseen phone available.
I get it. No, I get it. I don't.
You know?
I don't disagree with you on that statement. We love the '90s.
But either way, we got more stuff to do this weekend.
They're fantastic. Yeah. So keep it on the Thanksgiving theme here because there's a lot of it. I get excited about it. Clean your oven if you're going to do your oven bake right. If you're having family over, let's get this oven presentable.
Kev.
Scrape the debris off of it.
Kev, you're just writing stuff that you're going to do this weekend.
Well, I'm telling America to get ready for Thanksgiving because you don't want to be doing this shit Wednesday night.
No, this is
Let's
good
get
advice.
this oven clean. Let's get your smoker clean. Whatever you got to do, get your kitchens ready for the mayhem because there is a storm coming. You got family coming over. It's about to get wrecked. Let's prepare for the storm.
I agree with that. And I'm putting in stuff I'm going to do this weekend too. And one thing I'm going to do this weekend is I'm going to give somebody a compliment. And I'm not talking about somebody that I know really well. Like I live in a tall building. Get me in the elevator. I'm going to talk to somebody, and I'm going to give them a compliment.
I feel like you do that every day.
But you have to mean it. But maybe our listeners or viewers aren't doing that.
Maybe.
And maybe you're at the grocery store, and if you really like that person's outfit, then you should let them know. I feel like we're all really shy deep down, and we probably have compliments for people we don't know often, and we're just too shy to actually say anything. So your compliment might change someone's day, and it actually might change the momentum for them this weekend. So get out there on a Friday.
Give a nice compliment.
Give some people some compliments.
Yeah, a genuine compliment. Don't be weird about it.
Let's be real about this.
You be real about it. Be genuine, right?
Yeah. And if you're like a guy that's randomly complimenting a female, just go about it in a way it's like, hey, the way that your colors match, killing it. And then just walk away. Don't make it weird.
That's great advice, I think. I like it. We've kind of switched up a little bit on the things to do this weekend because these are a little bit more tangible. I mean, we used to put stuff in here that would take place in cities that people were like, we're not going there. Yeah. So these are actually things to do this weekend that make sense. Happy Thanksgiving, America. Art's going to close us out.
Yes. Happy upcoming Thanksgiving. Thanks for tuning in to Happy Friday, America. Facebook, Instagram, Happy Friday, USA. Hit us up on X on the poll at Happy FRI USA. Send us an email, happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. You know we love you. Let's go, America.